So do you go out there and get a pitcher? Maybe not, because you're set and solid right now, and you got a big guy coming up, right? Well, that's what happened with Jameson Taillon, if we remember, right? That's why we got, oh boy, what's his name? Came over. He was with us, played for the Giants. Oh, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank, Joe. The starter that we signed in 16. That
you talking about Ryan Vogelsong?
Yeah, Vogelsong.
Oh God.
Right? It's like that's why we signed Vogelsong, right? Because he can come in, he can pitch 10, 13 games. He's come back and resurged. So, a little risk reward in there, but then Taillon's going to come, right? The big stud. Well, Taillon got Tommy John.
Right.
So, I don't know. And learn from that and say, well, Keller's possibly coming, but he's not here yet. So maybe we got to plan and get something, better than a Vogelsong.
Yeah. And then, it's like, oh, that's okay. Tyler Glasnow will be ready. Whoops.
Yeah. But it's okay. We got Archer now.
Yeah. It all worked out.
Yeah, sure.
Tyler Glasnow's winning the Cy Young next year, but still, it all worked out.
That's it. It's all that matters, right?
All right, sir. Thank you so much. One more question. How many feet away from Juan Soto do you have to be? What is the protection from order state?
You know what? I just ripped up the piece of paper. I didn't even look at it. I don't care. Restrictions can't hold me back. Laws can't hold me back. The restraining orders mean nothing to me. Juan Soto is the GOAT.
Just people, find someone out there that loves you as much as Dinardo loves Juan Soto. It's a beautiful thing.
Facts.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Hey, Joe, thanks.
I love you guys. I hope to see you soon, and I hope we can do this again soon.
For sure. And actually, again, just also congratulations on starting the podcast.
Thank
it's
you.
Awesome. It's awesome. Keep it up.
Thank you. All right, I'll see you.
All right, take it easy.
All right. Since the Steelers are on a bye week, figured we'd do a little State of the Union for the Steelers. And with me once again is Pip and Jeff Say. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Joe?
Back. Yeah. Happy to be back, Joe.
Good.
Yes,
Thanks
for
for
once again.
Happy you guys are back. So, all right, let's get into it. Steelers 3-2-1 and possibly back in first place in the AFC North because of the craziness of this weekend. So, is this how you thought at the beginning of the year? I forget what predictions we made, but is this how you expected the Steelers of the season to go so far?
Discounting that tie to Cleveland, yeah, it's pretty close. I think Kansas City, I think everybody knew they were going to be really good. I don't think they were going to be as good as they've been. Pat Mahomes has really impressed me, and he obviously shredded our secondary. But that Cleveland Browns tie, I think, set the tone, and they're just kind of now getting out of the funk. The bye week comes at kind of an odd time because they were on a roll, and they're finally getting to be the team that I think that we expected them to be. However, I'm still not going to be happy with – I'm going to go with 10-5-1 is going to be our record now. I think I said originally we were going to be 11-5, if I remember correctly. 10-5-1 is – does that make sense? That makes absolutely no sense. I must have said 12-4. But so I think 10-5-1 is probably where we're going to end up. And I'm fine with it. I think that's good enough to make the playoffs, especially after seeing the craziness with the Ravens game today. And we're getting ready to watch the Bengals and Kansas City now, see what happens there. But I think that would be good enough for the Steelers to make it. Am I happy with it? Not particularly, just because they have not looked sharp yet this season.
I'm going to jump on the end of that, Jeff. I've got to say that the season is not over, and it's a little disappointing from that point that a tie with the Browns after leading by 2 touchdowns going into the fourth quarter, and they can do better. I'm not going to say it's a disappointing season, and I'm not going to jump on, as I've said all along, I'm not going to jump on the anti-Tomlin bandwagon because I do think he is a great coach. Most of the Steelers teams that I have noted since the 90s even have always started a little bit slow. Even when they won the Super Bowl in Detroit, they started out, they were the 6th seed. Anything is possible. I'm going to go with your prediction of the 10-5-1. I think they're going to lose to the Patriots. I think Brady's going to shred them. I think that against the AFC North, they're going to do well. Like you said, the disappointing loss against Kansas City, that kind of rings in my head a little bit, showing the weakness of the secondary, but it continues to get better. They have to get better at the middle linebacker position, and their secondary, particularly at the safety position, Artie Burns has been average at best this season, and as a first-round pick in 2016, he has to be better. The offense is great. I think AB and Ben, that whole Wi-Fi scenario, what was irritating to me against Cincinnati were the announcers playing up on that. It was, in my opinion, unnecessary because, in my opinion, they are a great team offensively with or without Le'Veon Bell, and I think they can do a lot, go deep into playoffs, but I think a good offense is going to shred them, and I think that's where we're going to have to worry.
Yeah. Well, let's start with what went right. What do you think has been the biggest surprise so far this year?
I don't know if it's a surprise, but James Conner has been, for me, the team MVP on the offensive side. He's come in and filled a hole where everyone's having a panic attack about Le'Veon Bell. We don't have our best running back. And James Conner has been the picture of, I don't want to say consistency, because there's been a couple games where he struggled a little bit, particularly the Ravens game and the Kansas City game, the 2 big losses for us. But in the other games, when they've fed him the ball and they've game planned for him, he has been able to create yardage. The line's blocking well. That running game has been clicking, and that's what really we need to have happen for Ben to be able to find AB, for that Wi-Fi connection to be strong, as Pip alluded to earlier. You've really got to set up the pass with, and Connor, the past couple games has really come on. He's a model citizen. It's a great story. I think everybody is rooting for him, and he's really made the loss of Bell easier to swallow. And that, for me, has been probably the most enjoyable part of the season, is watching him take control, mature as a runner, and see him really mature as a player and as a running back, and watch him over the course of the season so far find the holes, figure out the schemes, and really make it work. And I think his pass catching ability out of the backfield has improved immensely as well since the first couple of games. So I think he's becoming an all-around back. And really, if Le'Veon Bell doesn't come back, I'm sure we'll get into this later in more detail, but if he doesn't come back, I'm not too worried, because Connor, for me, is the real deal.
I agree with Jeff on that one too. I think Connor has been kind of the rock and the foundation of that offense this year. Coming out of Pitt in the 3rd round, the expectation really wasn't there for him, as opposed to Le'Veon Bell, who was a 1st-round pick out of Michigan. I've got to go with him being a solid runner up the middle. He reminds me more of Jerome Bettis as opposed to like a Barry Foster. Barry Foster could run between the guard, and he was fast, which reminds me of Le'Veon Bell, but I'd prefer, if I'm going to have a running back here, I'd prefer a Bam Morris or a Connor. A guy that sees the guard and just goes between the guard and the tackle and plow, and you see the line move. Jerome Bettis, if you can remember those games where he was in the colder weathers, where you could see the line move and give, when he would hit the line and you would see the linebackers go back. That's the kind of running back I can see the Pittsburgh Steelers using, and I think he's more of a person that fits that scheme. I think off the field, he has played the press well. I think he's a better overall person than Le'Veon Bell, and I'm not trying to trash Le'Veon Bell at this point, but he just seems like a better fit in Pittsburgh. What I can see for Le'Veon Bell going to a bigger market like not Detroit, but a New York, Miami, Oakland, which will be Vegas, Los Angeles, some of the bigger markets. Hey, have at it. Do what you have to do if you're going to pursue a rap career after your time in the NFL is up. More power to you. But traditionally in Pittsburgh, we don't really like people like that want to kind of put themselves above the game or themselves above a city. So for James Conner to come in here and do what he's doing, I think it's great. And I'm enjoying watching him play. And I think he is the undersigned MVP of the team this year.
Yeah, I think that was a big question coming into the years. Basically, it was a huge crossroads for James Conner's career. It's like, well, what are we really? Because his first year was basically a mulligan. So it's like, well, what are we actually going to get from this guy? Is this guy a number one running back? And I think we've seen that he definitely is. And yeah, he has that running style that's different than Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell would do that, hesitate and then burst through. It's like a totally different style of James Conner, just running through the hole. But what? I'm so sick of talking about Le'Veon Bell, but we have to, because it's still such a big issue.
It's irritating. I'm with you, Joey. It's irritating at this point. You take the media distraction, and you can, to speak plainly, just take it and go. I think he's going to be a talented gentleman somewhere else, and that's great for him. But I don't want it here. I don't want that, as you just said, or we all agree on, a distraction. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about it. We've seen superstars come and go here, and if he wants to do something else somewhere, go have it. Do it. Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy, but just stop being that guy who is, frankly, a jerk.
I have no issue with his business acumen or what he's trying to accomplish in making more money. But I think what you're getting at is that he's completely tone deaf for trying to endear. If he's trying to endear himself to Pittsburgh, it's certainly not working. This is not how you present yourself to a blue-collar town and a blue-collar team like the Steelers. He certainly does seem more like the flashy Miami or Las Vegas or L.A. type of rapper, that he wants to have this second profession where it might actually be his first profession. He has these ideas and illusions of grandeur that just do not mesh well with a blue-collar city like Pittsburgh. So, yeah, absolutely. I wish him the best. I hope he goes somewhere and he does well, but he doesn't fit here. And the fact that he's been holding out and he's holding it hostage, more or less, and all the media coverage is just not necessary. Frankly, in my opinion, I hope that he stays out all season. I hope he sees it fit that he's going to make more money if he's healthy and he's able to leverage this into a bigger contract with somebody else, because I don't think that he's needed here, and I don't think that type of personality is going to fit here. I could be completely wrong, and by the time that the podcast comes out, he could already have reported back and be back in the fold. In terms of what's going to happen if he does come back, it's kind of interesting, because you've got that thunder and lightning now where you can have Conner go up the middle and be that power back, and then have Bell out of the backfield and maybe take some pressure off of AB, because I think AB's certainly been feeling a little bit more. I just don't know how that dynamic is going to work, because they're both going to need touches, and there's only so many touches that can go around when you have that many talented football players. So it might actually behoove the Steelers if Bell decides he's going to sit out, and you see what you have with Conner, and you're probably going to win with him because you've been winning with him and the team seems to rally around him. For Bell, if he sees fit that sitting out an entire year is going to benefit him and help him make his money, so be it.
Well, now I feel bad because I got you guys the Le'Veon Bell's latest CD for Christmas, and